This is the Speak For Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. Hump Day Wednesday, big night on FS1, UCLA, Washington. And we got a short week, folks. We're off Friday, but got a loaded show today, and oh boy, tomorrow's going to be popping. Colin tells you why the Warriors without KD are not a lock to make the NBA Finals. Try to hold back your laughter, folks. He loves Houston and the Spurs all of a sudden. Ahem. Whitlock thinks that it is time that the Patriots move on from Tom Brady. So when is it, you think? Like week 6? When does Brady implode the way Peyton Manning did 2 years ago and get benched with the injury? I mean, Brady's 40. It happens to the best of us. Father Time, undefeated. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is here to tell us how Russell Westbrook and the Thunder could start scaring teams in the West. Yeah, Doug McDermott now, Broussard. They got Dougie Buckets. Look out. NBA champ and a guy with a better hat than Whitlock today, Glenn Big Baby Davis, stops by to talk a little Kevin Garnett. FS1 NFL analyst Greg Jennings, one of the most dapper guys at the network. He thinks Tony Romo maybe isn't a good fit in Denver. I kind of agree with him. That's a brutal division. And finally, Chris Carter, the Hall of Famer, breaks down a story about how Randy Moss helped him get a 4-year contract with the Vikings. Good stuff from C-Squared. Ready for Speak For Yourself? Cowherd and Whitlock, take it away.
All right, welcome to the show. Colin's figured out the one team Tony Romo should definitely not play for next year.
I have, and Jason actually thinks the Warriors have nothing to worry about. That's so sad. He's going to be so wrong. Speak For Yourself starts now.
Hurt his knee.
Usually,
He lose an arm.
Let me tell you something.
His knee.
They're in big trouble.
No, they're not. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Promise, play nice today, Chris. And we're joined by NBA champion Glenn Big Baby Davis. We've balanced out the sides of the table. All right, let's start with the Golden State Warriors, whose road back to the finals might have just hit a serious obstacle as Kevin Durant went down with a knee injury last night. Golden State announced this morning that Durant will be out indefinitely with a sprained MCL and a bone bruise, but that he will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Colin, or the Warriors still a lock for the finals?
No way. First of all, I feel like I'm dealing with crazy people. So between my callers, my coworkers, Kevin Durant's the second best basketball player on the earth.
Yes.
There's one thing from watching him on TV. You've seen him on the court. He's one of the 10 best players I've ever seen. I don't care about the titles. They lose length. So to get him, they gave up all their bigs and their bench. And now they're going to bring him back in a month to reevaluate. That doesn't mean he's going to play in a month. So there's a chance they're going to be
March.
Okay, they're going to bring him back as a 2 seed. Now they may open up with OKC, size and a superstar. Then they may face the talented Clips.
The man that doesn't like Russell Westbrook is now ready to say he's scared of Russell Westbrook.
The second best basketball player in the world is out. And you just think nothing changes? KD is a monster. He's a matchup nightmare.
I'm not knocking KD, but help my memory here, guys. Didn't they make it to the finals without KD last year?
And they had sides in the bench.
Listen, KD will be back. He will come back in the playoffs as long as there's 7-game series in the playoffs. It's
remember when Steph Curry, we have a piece of video. Remember in the playoffs when Steph Curry had that weird slip?
It was a sprained knee.
It was a one-level sprain. Remember this? He was never the same off an MCL1. This is a 2. This is more serious.
I would still say they're the favorite in the West. Are they a lock? No. Like 2 days ago, they were virtually a lock. Now they're not a lock. I give the Spurs a shot. I give Houston a shot. Clippers can't beat Golden State.
No.
But if the Spurs beat Golden State, then I think the Clippers might be able to beat the Spurs or the Rockets. So I give all those teams a shot now, but I still favor the Spurs. Look, all those teams I mentioned, 1 all-star each, right? They still have 3 all-stars in Golden State.
And no size.
They got Zaza Pachulia, who's not Bogut, but he's not bad. JaVale McGee has played well. The bench, you still have Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala. Let's not act like the cupboard's bare. They're still stacked.
The cupboard's pretty bare to me. The
Draymond?
reason why I say this is because KD has come and made a big impact on that team. Now, the second half of the season, you need chemistry to go into the playoffs. He's not even there. So now you have to restart what you started at training camp, and now you got to go all the way back to the old stuff. And do we know it's going to work? No, y'all lost 3-1. Y'all lost the lead 3-1. We don't know that that's going to work. They're in trouble.
Who's your favorite now in the West?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
I got the best coach in the world.
I'm going with San Antonio. I'm with San Antonio.
I got the best coach in the world. Kawhi Leonard, a bench veteran.
He's a former Clipper. We know
the culture. It's hard to beat that culture now. It's hard to beat San Antonio now.
There is a 7-game series in the playoffs, and the playoffs go on forever. He will play his way back into shape. Steph Curry got injured in the playoffs, not in March, not March 1. There's a big deal, a lot of recovery time here. And just once again, they're not chopped liver without Kevin Durant.
No.
It just won't be easy.
People are forgetting this. Okay, when they didn't have Durant, they won a title, right? But they had size, a bench. Iguodala was a better player. They had Harrison Barnes. They gave up all that stuff to get KD.
But they've got decent. I agree. They dropped their depth. But again, McGee is playing well. We can laugh at him all we want. He's actually playing pretty well for him. Pachulia's playing okay. You don't agree?
Championship basketball, though? I'm talking about championship basketball. JaVale McGee championship basketball. Is that what you're saying? Okay, all right.
No, but I mean, it's different. It's different from March 1st to the playoffs.
It's big difference.
Curry last year.
With that team, with those stars, I think JaVale will be okay.
One thing I agreed with.
What was that?
If they go to number 2 and they have to face OKC early, I like the way OKC's playing with Enes Kanter and all that other stuff. So coming back and the way Westbrook is playing.
Speaking of OKC, to Durant's old teammate, Russell Westbrook, who notched, I don't know, what does it say here, 4th straight triple-double last night, whatever. Delivered a huge fourth quarter to get the win over the Jazz. Westbrook's been carrying OKC all year. Thunder just added Taj Gibson and Doug McDermott from the Bulls. Jason, should Westbrook and the Thunder scare top teams in the West?
Look, Russell Westbrook's a force of nature.
He is.
And now they've given him not huge pieces, but additional pieces.
Yes.
Doug McDermott, whether he knocks down shots or not, you're going to respect and honor that. There's some floor spacing now. Yeah, in a Russell Westbrook motivated and trying to put an exclamation point on the season after everyone wrote him off, I think will be very dangerous for damn near any team in the first round.
I got to be honest with you. Now, you guys see me as anti-Westbrook.
No, we don't see you as anti.
You are.
You are anti. Don't couch it.
I see Chris's light skin.
To fit your thesis, yeah, exactly.
I got to be honest. Like this morning, injuries change stuff. Derek Carr got hurt. Tom Brady into the championship. Injuries change sports. Right now, I don't have KD. So Oklahoma brings in Taj Gibson. So I got size and a superstar. And now I have an extra shooter. I don't think OKC is the best team in the league. But they add 2 pieces. Golden State has to recalibrate their chemistry.
So would you pick them to beat Golden State?
I think it would be I think Golden State would win the series, but I think it would be I think it's a 6-gamer. I think they make Golden State nervous now.
I think scared is too strong of a word. I think what it is it's a first-round matchup you don't want to have to deal with.
Right.
Usually the first round, if you're a top seed or 2, 9 times out of 10, you don't have to worry about the possibility of losing. This one, you do, and here's why. He's a superstar, a top 5 player on a lower seed team. Think about it. Think about all the other best players in the league. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Chris Paul. They're all fighting for home court advantage or top 1 or 2 seeds. You rarely see a superstar in his prime.
That's right.
You might see younger guys like Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who aren't really there yet. But a superstar in his prime is rare for a lower seed, so that's why they're scary.
Look, I know Darren Williams isn't great, but he does make the Cavs a little better. I know Taj Gibson's not great, but he's been around the playoffs. And then you add McDermott, it makes OKC more formidable.
It does, but being a player and knowing the scouting book, they're going to be on Westbrook like white on rice. Literally, he is not going to be able to see daylight. So who's going to step up? Are these people battle tested yet? Is Taj Gray battle tested? Has he been in big series where he had to step up? all those guys, can they step up for him?
I want to
don't think they
elaborate
can.
your point because what you're saying, in a 7-game series, you get to hone in on your defensive
you get to
assignments.
hone
You
in.
have to have a good second and third.
Yeah, we ain't going to let you do that, Westbrook.
Yep.
Oh, we
What's your
load to the
second
ball.
pitch?
Oh, yeah. So.
There is one stat. Our staff did a really good job. This is the one thing that concerns me. And I'm not picking on Westbrook. This is the reality this year. Westbrook has beaten up on some bad teams.
Yeah.
Against top 4 teams, Russell has struggled.
Yeah.
Top teams generally have better players and better coaching and better scouting. Now, I'm not saying that Russ isn't great, but that's something.
Because like Big Baby said, they focus on him. They're better coached. And beyond that, they're 1-6 against the top 3 teams in the West. Houston, San Antonio, Golden State. They're only 13-17 against 500 or better teams overall. So they're beating up. I don't blame them. That's what they do. They're beating up on the bad teams in the league.
I will say this, though. Chris said something today on my radio show I thought was really important. This is more interesting, though.
Oh, yes.
I think the KD injury, I'm sitting on a set here, and I really strongly believe that San Antonio, Houston, and OKC are now interested.
I can't wait to watch.
Now
I
it's
think.
exciting. Were you saying that
When's the last
yesterday
time
morning?
an injury to a superstar helped the NBA?
Well, again, to me, what it says, superstar teams, these super teams are bad for the NBA. It's more interesting when it's a little more spread out.
All right, welcome back. Joined by Hall of Famer Chris Carter, NFL analyst, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl guy Greg Jennings. You know them both. Let's go to Dallas, where it seems more and more likely Tony Romo will be released in the not-so-distant future. I'm okay with that. As for Romo's next destination, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says Denver should be the prime landing spot if the quarterback takes a pay cut. I don't get it. Whitlock, explain Denver to me.
They have a great defense. They won a Super Bowl, 2 years ago? Why not? They need a quarterback. They played with Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch last year. You got John Elway there. They're poised.
Is John Elway on the offensive line?
No, he's a part of he's built a structure and a culture and a roster there that you can win with right now.
When Peyton went there, because Romo and Peyton, let's just talk about the injuries for a second. So Peyton had the choice, and Tony's got some choices. So Denver, when he went there, the division was awful. Kansas City was 2-14. Oakland was a mess. The offensive line was terrific. Ryan Clady was on that line, terrific offensive line. And he had a veteran head coach. Now, Tony would go to a rookie head coach, outside of the center, a bad O-line, and the division's a nightmare. I got to face Derek Carr twice. Phillip Rivers always been good against Denver. Kansas City's roster is filthy. Why? I want to battle.
Wins championships. They got a top defense.
Am I missing something?
No, I don't think you're missing anything. For me, what you just alluded to, I think that Denver is a viable option for him, but I don't know if it is fitting for them right now because they would have to reconstruct their entire offensive line to make sure that this guy stays upright. He's not going to stay upright with a Khalil Mack coming at him from Oakland twice a year with all these with Joey Bosa coming from. I mean, we're not even talking about Kansas City.
And who's got this great offensive line? He
doesn't have that many options. I mean, we're talking about a guy that has to stay healthy in order for us to even give him a chance to give a team a chance to be productive. Like that's.
There's some of the best pass rushers in football.
Absolutely.
Minnesota got a great offensive line. Where am I missing?
If you look at the teams outside of New England had problems with their offensive line. Most of the NFL teams, their offensive line, besides Dallas, they're not that good. Mm-hmm. We just don't pay attention to them. Now we're in the offseason. Everybody wants to pick on the team. Well, what about their offensive? Actually, their offensive line, they had a decent left tackle in Ryan Clady. He wasn't the superstar he was before Peyton got there. But the part of Peyton's retirement was, remember he got injured the first year? And that offensive line, they couldn't have any running game. So Denver thinking they had a good offensive line with Peyton, that's not true. To me, I would look to go to Houston because I believe Houston has more of a dominant defense. And I believe they have more of a need at quarterback.
In a weaker division.
No, I like
definitely a weaker division.
I was going to get to that part because getting to the playoffs and getting home field advantage, can Tony Romo go to Houston and get Houston to win 12 games? Because if you win 12 games, you're going to have home field advantage. You make New England get on the road. Now, I believe there's bigger upside in Houston than there is in Denver.
Now, by the way, here is the Denver schedule next year. Again, maybe I'm nitpicking. Maybe players don't care about this stuff, but Colts, Chiefs, Eagles, Raiders on the road, Cowboys, Patriots out of conference at home. I got a weak offensive line. I got a rookie head coach in Denver. I got a defensive head coach in Denver. By the way, even if I win in Denver, but I don't win a playoff game, failure, because Peyton won. I go to Houston, I win a playoff game. I'm a legend.
Listen, there is something to history. Has Houston ever won anything in the NFL? Denver's got a championship pedigree.
They do.
They know what they do, and they know how to win Super Bowls.
And I think as a franchise, you're on to a good point. Denver, for the last 40 years, has been competitive.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they've been competitive.
But
they are.
But the thing that the Texans has always been missing is that quarterback. And for me, they're the best option for Tony Romo. He's a Texas guy. They love him. They adore him.
45-minute flight. He's got a new baby.
Absolutely.
When you get older, that stuff matters.
And for me, he wants to go to a team that's going to give him the best chance of winning. When you look at the landscape of the road that Houston has versus the road that the Broncos has, Houston has a much easier
You gotta love
path.
the division. There's no question about that. Houston,
I
you
also
gotta
like
love
to
the
be
division.
staring across the state at Jerry Jones, just making him nervous. Just across the state, just let you know I'm keeping my eyeball on you, bro. Hey, how's it going over there?
All right, welcome back to the show. Chris Broussard is back with us. Joining us now is the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's talk Warriors, who will be without Kevin Durant for the foreseeable future after Durant suffered a sprained MCL and bone bruise last night. With KD sidelined, Steph Curry will once again be Golden State's alpha dog, and he tweeted about Durant's injury today, saying, quote, "Heal up, my man. We will hold it down till you're back on the court with us. Prayers up." Colin, will Curry make the Warriors his team again?
He better. I mean, he better. This team is, I don't know how you feel, but I'm sorry. They gave away size and bench to get KD, and now they don't have KD. Curry has to be alpha male here.
He does have to be. I'm not sure if it's going to be that easy. And again, I don't think all the shine was taken off of Steph Curry, but some of the shine was taken off Steph Curry the first half of this year with KD becoming the star player on that team. I think it's hard to put that shine back on and become that guy again. And plus, particularly when you know Kevin Durant is going to come back to this team.
Well, I think, first of all, I still think it's Steph's team. Kevin Durant is the best player. There's no question. But when people think of the Warriors, I bet you they think of Steph Curry
I agree.
first and foremost. Magic Johnson, a lot of people tell you Kareem was the better player.
Yeah.
But Magic was the face of the team. Now, to your point, Jason, I agree. It's going to take him a little while to get back in the groove he was in last year, if he can even get there. But it might take 2 weeks. But then Durant may be back 2 or 3 weeks after that. So that's where the chemistry issue could become a problem. Like, what if Steph goes back to what he did last year? 30 points a game, hitting crazy shots. Then when Durant's ready to come back right before the playoffs, does that cause a problem?
Yeah,
Is it harder for Steph to go back?
Are they winning when Steph turns
They're
into...
going to win.
Yeah, they
you
won
know they're going to
73
win.
last year
Yeah,
without
I don't know,
KD.
guys. I would agree with Colin that Steph will be the face of the team once again, but I think Draymond Green is the most important player on this team. Steve Kerr said it in January. He's the vocal leader, the emotional leader. I think he's more indispensable than Steph or Kevin Durant.
He's saying that so Draymond doesn't yell at him.
Well, Draymond will, yeah, that's the thing. He keeps Kevin Durant in check. He keeps Klay Thompson in check. We know they've gone at it.
He cost them championships.
You love that, right? He also
Well,
talks
that is a fact. Don't act
That's a
like
fact.
you
But wait.
just tossed that out.
But wait,
It's cost him
I
one
thought they
champ.
just-
It's only one.
I thought they blew a 3-1 lead. Now it's Draymond cost him. Okay, I like that.
What I read the thing today, and they said indefinitely he's out. So they're going to reevaluate in 4 weeks. Well, reevaluate in 4 weeks doesn't mean you play the next day. Like, reevaluate means, okay, now we're 2 weeks out. To me, Durant's out to the playoffs.
Yeah, why play him anyway?
And
Well,
Durant...
you want to get him back.
And
before
I
the
think
playoffs.
when Durant's back, they're a 2 seed. Yeah, we always talk about how great the West is. You're going to, with no size now...
Hey, they got
you
JaVale
keep
McGee.
saying no
Colin.
size. I mean, again, I'm not saying JaVale McGee is Shaquille O'Neal. No,
Yeah,
I'm not even.
they
no
lead
pun
the league in
intended.
block shots.
But he's 7 feet and he's athletic. Exactly, they lead the league in blocks. Durant was the
Second-
main
Yes, he was.
factor.
Draymond is second.
Zaza is decent.
Yeah.
Zaza Pachulia is a decent center.
So you lost
they got
the
a 3
second
or
best
4
player.
game advantage, right?
I think they're
they're
3
3
games.
games
But remember, this is a team that, without Harrison Barnes in the finals because he was invisible, they were still up 3-1, won 73 games. I don't think this is the end of the world, Colin. Again, Harrison Barnes was a non-factor, and now you got Kevin Durant. Durant comes back, they're fine.
Listen, when you acquire, like when the Miami guys all got together, Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, bench wasn't good, and Joel Anthony was the center. This is salary cap. All these great teams, the big three, you got to give something up. Well, they gave up Spates. They gave up Bogut, David Lee from a couple years ago. Those were bigs. They are not a big, thick team. And now Cleveland's got a Tristan Thompson, and Greg Popovich is going to attack their lack of size and girth.
Who do they
The
have
question
inside?
is,
LaMarcus
where's
Aldridge?
Durant by that point? By the time they meet, now they won't meet San Antonio till the Western Conference Finals. Durant should be back and playing close
Probably
to
on a
his
flight to Germany
optimal.
right now, going to see Kobe's doctor over in Germany.
that would
He'll probably be back
Guys,
next week.
it's amazing to me. Kevin Durant's the second best player in the world.
But they still got 3 stars.
Yeah,
He's
30
three.
games
not
left,
one,
Colin.
not two, 3.
Okay, Durant is, it's not, compare Durant and Draymond. That's a different class of hotel. One's the
You're
Ritz,
right.
one's the Marriott.
I totally agree, but I still have a Ritz-Carlton in Steph. I've got a Marriott, a nice Marriott in Clay, and
4 seasons in Draymond Green.
All right, welcome back. Chris Carter, the Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl. Greg Jennings back. Let's move to the Super Bowl champs, where after months of speculation, Adam Schefter reports the Patriots will not trade Jimmy Garoppolo, the talented backup. Obviously, New England's pretty attached to Jimmy G, and even though Tom Brady said he's going to play until he's eligible for Social Security, Bill Belichick is always looking toward the future. Jason, should Brady be worried at all that the Pats are keeping Garoppolo?
Yeah, I think it puts 5% doubt in Tom's mind, that 10% maybe, that, whoa, maybe the Patriots are gearing up for this to be my last season. I'll say this, if I were the Patriots, that would be my mindset.
Sure.
And I have a lot of respect for Tom Brady. Think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm going to give him that over John Elway. But I think it's time to move on. He's earned one more year. They've got a young guy in waiting. And if I'm Tom Brady, he wants to play 4 or 5 more years. He may have to play someplace else.
I think Brady is uniquely aware of Belichick's ruthfulness. I think Tom's always, every time he talks, he's like, oh, I know I could be out on the Beacon's van lines here, or whatever they call it in the next 5 minutes. Brady sort of gets the culture. In fact, I think Brady fits the culture, gets the culture, and is motivated by the culture. Tom would never be shocked if next year they're 9-7 and Tom erodes if they let him go. I think Tom just totally gets it. I think Tom's motivated by it.
I don't know if it's going to take a great deal of erosion. If a 10%, 15% fall, they could move on.
Well, one thing is you have to realize that New England knows Garoppolo better than anyone.
That's right.
And also that report from Adam Schefter. I'm just going to tell you based on my experience. When Adam Schefter says something about New England, it's no rumor. It's come from a high source within the organization. So I believe Jimmy Garoppolo, he's created a lot of value within the organization. Tom was suspended. They're getting him game ready. So they got the chance to find out mentally and physically what Garoppolo can do. So if they know that Tom could only play 2 or 3 more years, and you had a franchise quarterback in Garoppolo, there wouldn't be a price high enough for me to be able to trade him. Because there's 2 things you struggle in the NFL. Who's going to be your head coach, be your leader, run your organization, and who's going to be the quarterback. That's what we talk about on these shows week after week after week. If you have the future quarterback on the roster, why would you take a chance, even with 2 number 1s, in going back out there into the draft? Belichick, since he was in Cleveland, has drafted 11 quarterbacks, okay? He got 1 winner in Tom Brady.
And passed on him 5 times.
Right. Now, so why would you go back through that whole cycle again, Greg, where he hasn't been a winning coach without Tom Brady?
Yeah, I just don't think Tom Brady should be worried. Is he mindful? Absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, Colin, I think Brady understands he's a smart guy. When we look at history of transitioning from great quarterback to great quarterback, now I'm not saying Garoppolo is a great quarterback. That's to be seen. Mm-hmm. But to your point, when you have an asset that you know in-house that this guy he can be something special. I was in that position in Green Bay. We saw Aaron every day.
Yes.
No one else saw him every day. So when Brett decided to make the decision,
coming to the first practice, and you told me on the side.
Look, hey, he the real deal.
Yeah.
He's the real. Those guys in that locker room know. Those coaches know what they have, and if they're willing to, and Tom knows what he is. Tom will know. But I think he's smart enough, and they're smart enough to have seen the landscape that has taken place of history before to understand how to go about it and to do it the right way and to make it a smooth transition whenever that transition comes to.
When Denny Green called me and told me he was drafting Randy Moss, it was the day of the draft. He was falling. We were getting ready to pick him. When Denny got done telling me he was going to draft him, and we drafted him, when I got done talking to Denny and Randy, I called the general manager. I'm in the last year of my contract. I'm 32 years old. I know this guy is going to replace me. Not under my watch. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not working them out. I'm not helping them until I get 4 years guaranteed. Y'all give me 4 years, then y'all get my tutelage. If not, I'm going to be sitting in Florida. Like, I'm not helping Randy Moss one bit until I get the security. So at some point in your career, you do have to realize. Now, Garoppolo is not Randy Moss. But I was smart enough to know that this thoroughbred right here is going to replace me, and I need to get some security.
By the way, I think Belichick has a great sense of football history. The reality is the Packers did this. The Colts have done this. San Francisco did it with Montana. You can't be paralyzed. I always say this about divorce. If your wife leaves...
You know a lot about that.
Yeah, I do. If you go through a divorce, you have to realize that person may find somebody even as better than you. Montana won. Peyton won. Favre won. Brady leaves, he'd win. I think Belichick has a sense of, if we have to move on, Tom may go beat us a couple times. But Belichick gets history. It's about 10 years, not 2.
Absolutely, and that's the key. Don't get caught up in that.
Belichick gets that.
This is the Speak for Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. Guys, we're online everywhere. YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't know if we're on Snapchat. I'll check. Cowherd may have an account for us on Snapchat. I know he's big on there with the young kids. Hey, quick comment on LeVar Ball. How much airtime will he get on FS1 tonight? Seriously. I did a video. It's online. I'm getting crushed by UCLA fans. I think LeVar Ball is bad news for his son, his 2 younger sons. And if you're an NBA GM and an NBA coach, do you want this headache going to the media when your son has a bad game or he's not getting playing time? Lonzo Ball, please tell your dad to put a cork in it. Enjoy the game tonight. Talk to you tomorrow.